Hey gorgeous Sag family, I am so excited to do your reading for 2019, July 2019. Let's just take a moment here. And welcome in July as an experiment, as a little bit of a fun ride through exploration and surprise and the unknown. I'm pretty stoked about July. I think will make a lot of people nervous because it's not going to be obvious as to how we're morphing and what's really going to come of it. It's one of those months, and we have these often, where what you think at the beginning of the month is not where you're going to be at the end of the month. And so just kind of keep that in mind. You know, you're going to have an idea of what you think July is going to be. Even while July is happening, you're going to be like, yep, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. And guaranteed, each day, each week is going to bring something different and new and intense and exciting. And Sag, you guys are no exception. Your first eclipse, so it's eclipse season and Mercury retrograde, and tons of opposition in the sky between Saturn over in Capricorn and Venus and the Sun over in Cancer. And then we have eclipses happening in Cancer and Capricorn. And it is going to shake everybody up. We're all getting reboots. We're all getting system reboots. We're all getting huge downloads. Eclipses are known as malefic, which means that, you know, they have a darkness to them, they have an edge to them because the light gets taken away. We have a death and a rebirth in each of these eclipses that resets us, that gives us new information, that brings in conversations and people that maybe we didn't expect to have moving through our fold. And not only that, we have a Mercury retrograde in the mix. So the note I have for you guys with those initial thoughts in mind is that this isn't a month where you are going to be morphing very quickly. Your path is morphing very quickly. In fact, I think it'd be really fun. I think this is a really fun exercise, and I think I'm going to do it too. Being a Sag rising, I'll be riding the wave of this energy with you. But on July 1st, write down what you think is coming up for you. 6 of Cups. Makes a lot of sense. You know, write it down. Have fun with it. Queen of Wands. I'm liking this so far. And when you get to July 31st, write down what that month actually was for you. And see how interesting and different the two are. You could even do this week by week in July, honestly. Page of Cups. Wow, Sag. I like this energy a lot. 6 of Wands. You are going to be changing so fast. You are on a path. In your conscious mind, 2 of Cups. All right, I love it. In your conscious mind, it may feel a little chaotic this month. It may feel a little overwhelming and uncertain and unclear as to what is going on. Justice. Justice has been rolling through this month, by the way. You guys are near the end of my readings, and justice has been there. And I think there's this sense that we're getting the answers we need. These eclipses are bringing in a certain form of direct clarity that I think helps clear the way. There's been some uncertainty. There's been some kind of like, I'm not sure. It's felt pretty lighthearted the last couple of months, but there's also been kind of like, but now what? And that justice energy is bringing in some kind of insight. And I do think that these moons are going to be quite incisive. Judgment. Yes, we could never just, you know, have a reading Sages without there being some kind of like reckoning with where you want there to be clarity or ease. So you're morphing really fast. That's basically it. And the first eclipse happens in Cancer, which if you're a Sag rising like me, this is going to be happening in your 8th house. It's a total solar eclipse on July 2nd, visible in a small section of South America and in the ocean. Transformative moon, right? It is going to release anything that's holding you, you know. Eighth house energy does not want you to stay the same. It wants you to morph. It wants you to release. It wants you to let go. It wants you to let die anything that's no longer serving you. So that moon's going to be it's going to be hitting into some things. The next eclipse is on July 16th in Capricorn, and that is a partial lunar eclipse. And in Capricorn, this is your neighboring sign. This is a sign of value. It's going to be a little bit gentler, I think, for you, even though it's a full moon and we have that illumination. This is going to be more clearly seeing where you're going next. So I think it will be a little bit less of that turbulent emotional energy. Empress, yes. The Mercury retrograde begins in between these two eclipses, which I think is a good thing. It pulls us back from moving quickly on the downloads we are getting. Starts in Leo, your fellow fire sign of Leo, on July 9th. It moves back into Cancer on July 19th, moves back until July 30th, and then starts the post-shadow move forward on July 30th. So Mercury retrograde slows us down, makes us listen into what these moons are telling us. But the thing that's funny about this month is, okay, we have eclipses, we have a Mercury retrograde. You'd think these things would just have us all sitting at home, kind of like hiding out, but the month is very busy. There's a lot of conversation happening. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of turnover and change in the puzzle pieces. And it's this breathing organism. And you'll be seeing it. If you're able to take a breath and sit, you can watch it breathing and morphing like you're in this organism, because you are. And that's the way that this month is working. Now for you guys, you have beautiful energy. You've already locked into a path that's really good for you. I think in the last few months you've been slowly uncovering this path, and even though it hasn't been clear as to how that's going to unfold, there's been a sense that, okay, but something's working here, something's guiding me forward. And this month is continuing that theme. Six of Cups. Now, this makes me just think about what eclipses tend to do. And Mercury retrogrades too, actually, in the way that these are all happening here, especially in Cancer. It brings up people from our past. It can bring up conversations from our past that maybe we need. It can also bring up places of healing, points of reconnection that we need. Eclipses can do this both literally and just emotionally and figuratively. So depending on what's going on with you, you may be noticing that, especially that Cancer new moon is bringing up a lot for you. It's bringing up questions, it's bringing up conversations. You could even get a phone call or an email from somebody that you weren't expecting to hear from on that eclipse time, or just to have a deep conversation with somebody that you weren't expecting to have a deep conversation with. It's very possible. And, you know, I kind of say that this Queen of Wands, Page of Cups energy here, these are characters that are around you and coming into your fold. Queen of Wands is very Leo energy, but it's also a representation of Fire Queen, right? And the Fire Queen is a visionary. She's sitting here able to kind of see what's moving forward. Now, the Queen of Wands is also very important because she's an action queen. She's a realization, manifestation queen. However, she is really represented by the cat. And cats hunt by sitting very still and very quietly for a long time before they sprint. So this is kind of a modality I want you to keep in mind. There will be quiet points of rest, reflection, and there will be times of high intensity movement. This is also a time where you are getting hits of energy on where you're going next and what that's going to look like. And you are starting to kind of see some patterns evolve. Now, I love this Page of Cups because this is good news coming in for you. And it has something to do with this initial conversation. It has something to do with this healing journey. And we are in a Cancer season for the first 3 weeks of this month. And Cancer season is a time of deep healing. It's a time of deep integration. And for Sages, especially Sag risings, Cancer energy is very much about healing and transformation. It's about shedding an old skin. And so it takes you to a deep place. You are meant to be having deep conversations. You are meant to be asking deep questions. You are meant to be bringing that up to the surface. And no, it's not as playful. It's not as lighthearted. It's not as easygoing and just like, yeah, cool, as maybe you would want July and summer to be. But it's got a lot of value to it. And there's something here that's pressing on your heart that you need answers to. You need clarity on, and it is coming for you. And this month, the thing that's interesting about getting the answers you want and getting the path you want and getting the way that you want is that it comes with all the things you wanted. It also comes with all the insecurities and fears that come with getting what you want. That's what we're going to be talking about at the top a little bit here of this reading, the last few cards. But you are kind of getting what you want, because when you look at Queen of Wands, Page of Cups, Six of Wands, what I see is getting what you want. Getting the results you want. Getting the answers you want. Getting the forward movement you want. Keep in mind that the way that you get what you want does not always happen in the way that you think it will. Getting what you want may require some twists and turns before you feel locked in. And I do think July has that big time. However, you know what's interesting is almost all of these cards are visionary. They're almost all forward focused. They're all about things that work. Things that work and have balance and harmony. That is really important for Sagittarius this month, especially when I see this Two of Cups and Justice. These two cards are all about balance and harmony. You know, Libran energy is very much about a harmonious playing field, not about one person having a power dynamic over another, not about having, you know, a system where you're giving a ton of your energy, you're giving a ton of your positivity and feeling drained at the end of it. We're not doing that anymore, are we, Sagittarius? We're not doing that anymore. Any twists and turns, anything that gets pulled from your path, anything that gets kind of interesting for you, anything like that happens this month via eclipses and big conversations, big revelations, via Mercury retrograde slowing you down, taking things that aren't meant for you away from you, that is only in service to you committing further and further to this path of harmony. Fire signs right now are learning a lot about harmony. They are learning how to balance out that desire to get things done no matter what, push through things that they need to push through no matter what, and into this place of greater ease. Because fire signs have to learn this way. All three fire signs are learning this lesson in huge ways right now, that it's not always about strife. It's not always about the most passionate, most intense fire that burns and singes you and fries out your circuits, but it's about a harmonious flow of energy so that that fire can burn and last forever. And that there are times when the fire is ashes, and that there are times when the fire is a bonfire, but that there is a general ease in that pendulum swing. And this month, I tell you what, if you try and force a project, if you try and force a conversation, if you try and force even the simplest of things, watch what happens when you're resisting, when it's just like, this isn't working. This isn't working. Stop trying to force it to work. And it doesn't have to always be relationships, which, by the way, this is fantastic relationship energy. So is this. I have to tell you right now, these first six cards are all amazing for relationships, amazing for love and harmony and deeper connection. So you got a theme going on there with that, for sure. But it is a time of harmony. And it doesn't always have to be dramatic things. It can be just something as simple as, I remember a few months ago, I wanted to go on this bike ride when I was out in Encinitas, and we had these old rusty bikes, and I was like, okay, we're gonna pull them out from the side yard. We're gonna get these bikes. We're gonna go on a bike ride. We're gonna ride. And I couldn't find a bike pump. One of the chains was like so rusted, it was kind of scary. I was like, no, it doesn't matter. Called the neighbor, got like a bike lock, and I was like, all right, we're gonna fill up these tires. I can't find an air pump. So we go to like the 7-Eleven. Their little air pump is closed. It's broken. There's like a huge sign on it with tape. It's like, don't use this. I'm like, okay, we're going to the bike shop. We go to this bike shop. It should have been open. It was like open hours. It was 10 o'clock on like a weekday morning. They were closed. No sign of the owners in sight. We start riding down the road, and then one of the bikes like has brake problems, and I'm looking there at my friend who's a Sag, and she's like, we're not doing this. Like, I just would not let it go. It's that kind of thing. That's a perfect example of when you are just like trying to make something happen, and it's just time to chill out. July is going to bring a lot of that to you, along with a lot of relationship harmony. Unlike that story I just told you, a story where something just falls into alignment is when you're just going on a walk and then you meet somebody that's interesting to talk to, and then you end up walking and you don't even think about the walk and suddenly you're where you're headed, right? It's that kind of thing. Now, what would a reading be without there being one major deep card? Judgment. We gotta have judgment, right? But here's the thing. We're having a big conversation. Pluto is over in Capricorn. It's getting this opposition with all this energy in Cancer. And judgment is very much a Plutonian card. It's very 8th house. It's very Scorpio. And one of the things that's happening is you're having this realization of how you want this balanced, harmonious, beautiful relationships to go forward, and it's happening. That can sometimes bring up any old things that are no longer serving us. So you may be finding, judgment isn't the ultimate release card. It's the ultimate relief card. It's the ultimate forgiveness card. So you may find that there's a release of pressure on something that's been haunting you or weighing on you this month that helps you to heal. There may be some deep healing journeys going on internally with you this month, despite the fact that externally things are starting to cohere. So if you feel that you need to step back, if you feel like you're riding one of the waves of deeper emotional energy, ride it. Ride it. Take it all the way there. Let it take you over a little bit, and it will be worth it. Talk to somebody if you need to as well. Share that you are experiencing that. You guys are meant to be sharing this month and not hiding things so much and not trying to just suppress so much. The Empress is your final card. Abundance in all her glorious beauty. Venus is going to be in Cancer, which is really interesting because, Cancer for you plays an interesting role. It's a catalyst for you. It's a change maker for you. And it wants you to shed a skin. But that doesn't always have to be a painful process, right? It can also be a process of abundance. I think there's two parts to learning. Yes, there's the part of learning that it's okay for things to be lost. It's okay for there to be grief. It's okay for there to be confusion. It's okay to learn how to be resilient independently of yourself. That's very much a lesson that Capricorn teaches us. But the lesson that Cancer teaches us is that the next part of learning is to feel held, to feel nurtured, to feel contented, to feel that things are building into new levels. And what's really interesting is with very independent-minded, go-getter energies, it's actually a harder part of the learning process to just accept the ease and the abundance and the goodness of what is building here. And that's actually where your pain may be coming in. Your pain may be sneaking in and trying to get at you a little bit, because there's this sense that things are starting to click into place. Things are starting to make sense. Now, most of you are going to be experiencing that as things working, things cohering, things having cohesion. Some of you may experience it as some losses or some changes. Absolutely. Some of you may be experiencing small deaths, not with people, but in situations or in scenarios or in pathways closing down. That's absolutely possible. Once again, the field of energy at this time is very malleable. If you're paying attention, you will be able to see the actual mechanism of the universe breathing at this time, and the way that breath comes in and out, and the way that it's very much a kaleidoscope. If you keep turning a kaleidoscope, the shapes, the form changes shape, but it's all still one thing. It's very much working in that logic system. So it can be very circular at times, and it can also be very diffuse. And that's part of why I was saying for you, I think it'd be really beautiful to write what you think this month is going to be about, or write what you feel is coming up for July. You don't have to predict your month, because I'm just telling you right now. But whatever is coming up and out of you on July 1st, and then write again on July 31st, just specifically for what you want that morphing to be, and see what that brings you, because you are meant to be living a life of abundance and happiness. You are meant to be living a life of harmony and balance, and you are going to be sniffing out the harmony and balance. Your Sag hearts are searching for that. They're wanting that in life, and anything that's not feeling that harmonious, sweet, Venusian kind of goodness right now is going to be called into question deeply during these eclipses. And you will notice that. You will be noticing that you're getting pulled further and further inward into this balanced, soft fire. And that is really where you are meant to be putting your energy right now, so that you can be more useful to yourself and to others. And also, it doesn't always have to be this hot burning fire that's like so intense and so painful and so all-consuming. There can just be this peace. Maybe that's the revolution that comes with these eclipses and this Mercury retrograde, that it doesn't have to be hard. Wouldn't that be an interesting spin on eclipses and retrogrades? I think it kind of fits. Okay, I'm gonna close it out there. I love you guys, and I love these cards, and I love what I saw coming up for you. Be prepared to be unprepared. Be prepared to be surprised. You can find me on my Instagram at SarahVerba. I would love to see you over there. You can also find me on my website at SARAHTAROT.com. I will be opening up sessions for later this year, so keep an eye on my calendar over there. They haven't opened yet, but they will very soon, so I'll leave all my contact info in the description box. You can also find PinkLune's jewelry. That's where I was going with that. On her Etsy shop, she's making a whole bunch of beautiful crowns, and I just love her so much, so go check her out. Have a beautiful July, you guys. I am so excited. We're heading into Leo season, and as we move from the intensity of Cancer into Leo, into that warm fellow fire sign energy, you may be finding that your heart is just opening and expanding more and more and more, and I think it's going to be a beautiful time, and I can't wait to share the August readings with you and the moon magics for these eclipses coming up. I will talk to you so soon. You are the loves of my life. Thank you for being here. Mwah.